Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Flemington Racecourse here on Tuesday. It is November the 1st, 2016. I'm going to look at all the races on today's program from Flemington, and I'm going to give you a preview and selections for the Melbourne Cup, race number 7. It's a great card. Before I get on to that, remember, please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections from racetracks around the world. And the link's in the description box, so go check that out. 10 races on today's card from Flemington. Let's get on to it, starting off with race number 1. Actually, here in the United States, here in New York City and Manhattan, the first race goes off Monday night at 7:40. So I think there's like a 16-hour difference with Melbourne and Manhattan. But this first race from Flemington is the Ottawa Stakes, going for a purse of $150,000 in prize money. It's for some 2-year-old fillies here. We have a field of 20 horses. The 17, 18, 19, and 20 are all swells, so only 16 can run. They're traveling 5 furlongs, or the 1,000-meter distance on the grass. My top selection in this one will go to the 4-horse, Terra Mia. I'm going to put this horse into a superfecta here. I'm going to go 4-2-1-5. 4-2-1-5. Might also do a exacta here with this one, but top selection here. 14-1 here in the United States. This 2-year-old filly, Terra Mia, breaking from stall number 14, has one start under her belt. That was at, and hopefully I say this right. Some of these, it's the first time here on YouTube. I've been watching the Australian races for quite a while now, but it's the first time on YouTube I'll be really going into these Australian races for into preview. But this horse his last start came at Betterbrong. I probably said that wrong, but who cares? On October the 15th in a 2-year-old maiden race at 4.5 furlongs, so that's about 900 meters. This horse finished second that day. This horse was stalking the leaders that day, closed up a tiny bit, but this horse should really improve off of that start today. She's getting the extra half furlong today, which I think is perfect for this one, because she showed the last time out that she wants a little bit longer. She should like the straight course here at Flemington also. She should really improve into this running here today in this Ottawa Stakes. So I'm going to use this horse as top selection. I'm also going to use the 2-horse Time Awaits as my second selection, or to complete an exacta here. He's coming off a very nice maiden victory in his first career start a few weeks ago, about a month ago. This horse won easy, closing up that day. He should have a good run here at 9-1, that 2-horse Time Awaits. But to recap my bets now, from race number 1 from Flemington, it's the Ottawa Stakes. I'm going to go with the 4-horse Terra Mia. I'm going to do a superfecta, 4-2-1-5, 4-2-1-5. Now to race number 2 from Flemington. Second race is the tab.com.au Trophy Stakes. Purse $100,000. We have, it's for 4-year-olds and upwards. Mayors here. Field of about 14 horses, probably a little bit more than that, as my iPad freezes up. It's always a good thing when technology stinks. But we have 14 horses traveling the mile on the 16th distance. That's 1,700 meters here. And my top selection in this second race will go to the 2-horse, number 2, Metaphorical, with Mark Zara. I'm going to go 2-8-5-1, 2-8-5-1 here in the superfecta. But number 2, Metaphorical, top selection, breaking from stall number 12, 5-1 here in the States, out of Dylan Thomas, an Irish bred horse. Last time out at Mooney Valley on October the 22nd in a Group 3 stakes race, going a mile. This horse finished 5th that day. Really didn't move at all. It wasn't this horse's best of runs. I think this horse should really improve today off of that run. And dropping down a little bit of class also, which I think is perfect for this one. Start before of the course here at Flemington, 7 furlongs, October the 2nd in a Group 2 stakes race. Horse finished 6th that day, and again, this horse just needed a little extra kick. Didn't really have the best closing kicks. Wasn't near the leaders at all. The last race this horse really had a good start was probably last May the 21st in an open stakes race at a mile and a quarter. This horse finished second after setting the pace early on, but really just weakened. If this horse could sit a little bit closer today, I think this horse should have a strong run. So going to go with this one. So to recap my bets for race number 2 from Flemington, it's the tab.com.au Trophy. Going to go with the 2-horse Metaphorical. Going to put him into a superfecta here. Going to go 2-8-5-1, 2-8-5-1. To race number 3 from Flemington here on this Melbourne Cup program. Third race is the Prince of Penzance Plate. We have a field of 22 horses. 19, 20, 21, and 22 are all also eligibles. It's this race is going at a mile and three quarters here, so it's a long one. Mile three quarters. That's the thing in America. We go by the miles and three quarters. And down under they use the meter system, so that's about 2,800 meters, 2,700 meters, something like that. But it's a long race for stayers here. I really like the English invader here of the one horse Kinema with Ryan Moore. Ryan Moore had a very good weekend in Japan. I'm gonna go 1,394 here in the Superfecta this race. 1,394. Number one Kinema, breaking from stall 22, doesn't have the best post position. So that's it's something. Hopefully this horse could really improve off it. He's 8-1. Last time out, he ran at Geelong on October the 19th, mile and a half in the Group 3 Open Handicap. This horse finished fourth that day, stuck third all throughout. Weakened to fourth. It just wasn't this horse's really good race. He was making his first start in Australia, so maybe that he needed that start. I think second start in Australia should really help this horse. Start before this horse was running in the United Kingdom, in England at in a handicap race for $400,000. This horse he finished 11th that day. Was far back. It really wasn't this horse's good run. Start before at Goodwood. In a Group 2 stakes race at 2 miles for stayers. This horse finished 7th. Again, this horse just didn't have a good start. And then this horse won at Ascot at a mile and a half on June the 27th, June the 17th, excuse me. He closed incredibly well to win that day. He should, like I said, this horse should really do well with his race today with his because you have to draw a line through his last run where he weakened because he needed that race. I think he's going to be a very fresh horse today. He gets Ryan Moore, probably the best rider in the world. So to recap my bets now for race number 3 from Flemington, it's the Prince of Penzance plate. Going to go with the one horse Kinema. Going to do a superfecta here. Going to go 13914, 13914. To race number 4 from Flemington. The fourth race is the Lavazza Prontissimo Stakes. This is a race for 4 and 5-year-olds. Field of 14 horses are traveling the 7 furlongs, 1,400 meters ahead of them on this grass course. It's a very nice race here for the 100 grand purse. My top selection in this one will go to the 2 horse Sebring Sun. I'm going to do a superfecta here. Going to go 2-5-1-3, 2-5-1-3 here in the superfecta. But number 2 Sebring Sun, 15-2 odds here on this one. Last time out on October the 12th at Caulfield in an open stakes at 6 furlongs or 1,200 meters. This horse finished third that day. Was stalking the leaders early on, but really, closed up for third. I think the 7 furlong distance should really help this horse here today. This horse likes a longer distance. His last 2 were very good. Start before at Moonee Valley on September 30th, 1,200 meters. This horse finished third again that day, closed up from nowhere to from far back to really get that third place position, finishing third by a length. He should do well here today. He hasn't won in quite a while since probably since before August the 20th of this year. But he's getting blinkers on also, so that should be something that should really change his horse. I think this horse is going to be on the improvement today. He should get the 7 furlong distance. The blinkers, I think, like I said, the blinkers also should be a good thing for this horse. So to recap my bets now for race number 4 from Flemington, it's the Lavazza Prontissimo Stakes. Going to go with the 2 horse Sebring Sun. Going to do a superfecta this race. Going to go 2-5-1-3, 2-5-1-3. To race number 5 now from Flemington here on this Melbourne Cup program. The 5th race is the Schweppes Flemington Stakes, purse $100,000. It's for 3-year-olds here. Field of 17 horses traveling 1,000 meters, 5 furlongs here. And my top selection of this one will go to the 3 horse Biased Witness. I'm going to go 3-2-6-4, 3-2-6-4 in the super. But number 3 Biased Witness, 5-1. Craig Williams is on this one, breaking from stall number 17. Last time out this horse ran at Moonee Valley a few weeks ago, October the 21st, in a 3-year-old open stakes race at 1,000 meters. This horse finished second that day by 2.5 lengths. This horse, he needed that race. It was the horse's first start since April the 25th. He was closing up a little bit, but today, with that second place finish, I think he should strongly improve off of that run today. I think this horse, 5-1 here in the States. Hopefully this horse doesn't go lower. Maybe this horse goes higher, and I would really like it because I think this horse has a very strong chance of winning. It's going to be my best bet in the card. Start before on April 25th at Flemington, 2-year-old stakes race, 7 furlongs over this ground. This horse finished fourth that day, set the pace early on, but really just weakened a little bit, and it got the closers really overtook this horse. It was a disappointing run, and then 6 furlongs in the 2-year-old maiden race here on April 17th. Horse won by length, on the lead all throughout. Very easy victory. I think this horse should have a strong run here today, second off the layoff. Like I said, this is going to be my best bet of the card. So to recap my bets now for race number 5 from Flemington, going to go with the 3-horse Biased Witness, my best bet of the card. Gonna go 3-2-6-4, 3-2-6-4 to race number 6 from Flemington. The sixth race, the race before the big one, is the sixth race is the Lexus Hybrid Plate. Purse $150,000 for 3-year-old fillies. We have a field of 20 horses. The 17, 18, 19, and 20 are also eligibles. They're traveling 7 furlongs, 1,400 meters ahead of them in this race. And my top selection in this one will go to the 6-horse. Number 6, My Country. Gonna go 6-8-9-7, 6-8-9-7. Number 6, My Country. Mark Zara on this one at 11-1. Last time at a Caulfield on the 8th of October in a 3-year-old Group 3 race at 6 furlongs, 1,200 meters. This horse finished second that day by a half a length. Just missed closing up that day. He should really, or she should really improve off of that start. The 7 furlong distance is not a bad thing for this one. I think this horse has been crying out for that added distance. Start before at Mooney Valley, September the 23rd, in 3-year-old Group 3 race. This horse finished 6th that day. Did not do anything. Was far back. Tiny bit closing up, but it just wasn't her day to win on that good going. And then at Flemington, September the 10th, on a soft turf course, very waterlogged kind of turf course he had that day, 5.5 furlongs in a stakes race. His horse finished 3rd that day. Was with the leaders early on, but gradually weakened and actually weakened a little bit and then started to close up again. So that race was a little bit weird. It was his first start off a layoff. He weakened and then he started closing again. I'm going to take my chances with this 11-1 shot here today. So to recap my bets for race number 6 from Flemington, it's the Lexus Hybrid Plate. I'm going to go with the 6-horse My Country. Going to put this horse into a superfecta here. Going to go 6-8-9-7, 6-8-9-7. So now let's get on to race number 7. Race 7 from Flemington is the big one. It's the Melbourne Cup, the Emirates Melbourne Cup, going for a purse of $6 million. That's a lot of money. It's a great race this year. It's a Group 1. We have a field of 24 horses tackling the 3,200 meters, 2 miles on the turf course, and this is a very difficult race. Instead of giving you one top selection with, you could go a few ways in this race. I'm going to give you actually, because I'm playing, here in the States on the races from Australia, they are offering a pick 4, a multi-race wager. I'm going to give you the 5 horses I'm using on that pick 4 ticket. I'll give you the reason I like those, and I'll try and narrow it down to at least one horse as a top pick. But the horses I'll be using on a pick 4 ticket here in this race, I'm going to use 1-4-6-8-20. 1-4-6-8-20. Let's start off with all the horses and give you my preview on these 5 horses I like. Number 1, Big Orange, coming in from the Great Britain to run. Jamie Spencer coming in from Great Britain to ride this one. This horse ran in this race in 2015 and finished 5th that day. Set the pace early on, but really, last year in this race, this horse had a horrible post draw. Broke from stall number 23 all the way on the outside. Today gets the better draw from post number 7, which I think is going to be the key with this one. 15-1, it's a great price on this one also. But, since that race, he finished 5th after setting the pace early on. Since that race, this horse had a little bit of time off. He ran on March 26th at Maidan in the in Dubai and Maidan, and the big Stayers race, 2 miles, in that Dubai Gold Cup. This horse finished second that day by a very close margin of ground of 3 quarters length behind Varzibad. Varzibad's a very good horse. Wasn't catching Varzibad with Christoph Sommelier that day. I think that horse needed that race. Start after that, the horse ran at Newmarket in a mile and a half race. Horse finished third that day. Really, a mile and a half, a little bit too short. I think this horse does better with the stayers kind of distance. He ran it last time out of Goodwood, July 28th, 2 miles or 3,200 meters in a big Group 2 race they had that weekend. Horse won that day. Really took off very nicely. Retains regular rider Jamie Spencer today, which I think is a key with this one. I think this horse has a very strong chance of winning. Possible top selection for me in this race. His last year's race, even though he finished fifth through some very tough conditions last year. I think he's coming into this race a little bit better. Watch out for this horse to have a good little upset here at 15-1 in the United States odds. I'm also going to use the 4 horse. Number 4, Bondi Beach, an Irish bred horse here, with Ryan Moore for Aidan O'Brien out of Galileo. This horse is coming out of start at Leopardstown on September the 10th, going a mile and a half, 2,400 meters in a Group 3 race. Horse finished third that day by 2.5 lengths. Really just didn't have the best of runs. Didn't really get that really good closing kick. Even a second behind the horse finished second that day. U.S. Army Rangers, very good horse. Ran very well after that, but a mile and a half too short. This 2 mile distance where this horse could really close up, I think should do well. Finished 16th in this race last year after a horrible post draw from the 18 post position stall. Today gets the 5 hole, which isn't half bad at all. Very good post position. Same like Big Orange. The post draw this year should really help this one. He's coming into this race running. He's not been running those stayers kind of races. The longest kind of stayer race he ran was a mile 3/4 at Navan back in May. He won that day. So he's been proving he wants the longer distance. He's going to get it today. 8-1. I'll take this price also. It's not a long shot, like 15-1, but I think this Bondi Beach should also have a good run. He's definitely using on my pick 4 ticket I'll be creating. Number 6, another horse I'll be using on that pick 4 ticket. Number 6, Hartnell, with James McDonald at 6-1. This horse is coming off of a run at Mooney Valley a few weeks ago in the Caulfield Cup, that Group 1 Caulfield Cup, 2,000 meters. This horse finished second by 8 lengths behind the incredible Winks. Nobody was catching Winks that day, but this horse really held his own by finishing second. He's not facing Winks today, and I think this horse should do well. His last start over this course here at Flemington, October the 2nd, mile and a quarter, 2,000 meters in a Group 1. This horse won that day by 3.5 lengths. A very nice closing kick that day. If he runs back to that race, he should be having a very good start. Had some very nice races at Randwick. He's going this 2 miles distance, what I don't think should be a problem. He's used to running a mile and a quarter. But I'm going to really take my chances on this one. This horse has made over $2.6 million in earnings through his 5 years on this earth. So this horse, another one I think could really win it. Number 8, Wicklow Brave, with Frankie Dettori coming in to ride this one. Frankie Dettori, before I get on to the Wicklow Brave, Frankie Dettori and Ryan Moore are going to have their air travel this week and last week is going to be so much. Ryan Moore took plane from, most likely plane, unless he walked, which I doubt, which is physically impossible, by the way. He went from the UK to Japan, now to Melbourne. Right after Melbourne, he's going on a plane to the United States to Los Angeles to ride in the Breeders' Cup this weekend. Same with Frankie Dettori. Frankie Dettori has a few mounts on Thursday's program at San Diego, so they might be a little tired that day. But the best riders show up at the best races. That's what I want to say. But back to the number 8 Wicklow Brave. I'm at 13-1 here in the States. First off, this horse has a horrible post position from stall number 24. So you're already screwed at the onset of this race. But I think he should. I think he can maybe save some ground and maybe get up there to win. Last time out, he's coming off of run on September the 11th in the actually in Ireland at Kirk, a mile 3/4 in a Group 1 race. This horse won that day with Frankie Dettori up by half a length, beating Order of St. George. Or St. George, I believe he finished second in the Arc or something like that. But this horse finished in front of him by half a length. A very good run. He ran. It was just a nice run that day. Start before at This horse, Start Before, came at York on August 29th in a Group 2 2-mile stay race. The same distance as today, 3,200 meters. The horse finished third, closed up a tiny bit, but didn't have the best of trips from the inside. And then at Goodwood in 2 miles in a Group 2 race, horse finished fourth behind Big Orange, who's running back into this race today. He kept finishing second behind Dartmouth in those big races at Ascot earlier this year, and Highland and Reel and stuff. I think this horse should have a good run here today. Like I said, this horse could definitely get the distance. Distance is There's no problem with the distance. It's just the 24 hole all the way to the outside. He's screwed right there. But if he could maybe get over and save some ground and not be far back, I think this horse could maybe win it. I'm not gonna. I have this horse on the pick four ticket here. Not a top selection here, but I am using him in the pick four ticket. I think the one and the four horse also both have better shots of winning, but. So yeah, I'll use him also. I'm also going to use the 20 horse, number 20 for Godolphin, number 20 Oceanographer, which had Schofield on this one at 15-2. This horse had to start last Saturday at Flemington, October the 29th, and the big Group 3 final prep race for this Melbourne Cup at a mile 9/16. Horse won that day by a little, just about a half length, closing up incredibly well. That really good closing kick was incredible. Little questions I really have with this one is the quick turnaround. Something with North America, you never see this, especially at 2 miles. You would never see this. A horse run Saturday to run Tuesday. It's just something you don't see that much quick turnaround. He's run a lot in the last few weeks. Godolphin also has never won this race. They wanted to win this race for quite a while. They haven't been really good, and their record is very bad in this one. This horse has started a lot in the last few weeks. Start before October the 19th, 10 days before at Geelong, in a Group 3 mile and a half Geelong Cup. Horse finished third that day behind Quay. This horse closed up, but needed a little extra ground. He should really get the 2 furlong distance. If he's fresh enough today, I think this horse should do well here. So I'm going to use this horse on the pick 4 ticket. Just the thing that scares me a little bit with this one is that he's running off of the quick turnaround, and he's having 2 very tough races in, let's say, 2.5 weeks. But with that being said, if this horse is an incredible horse, if this horse is, the horse from God, I think this horse can maybe, run well. So I'm going to use this horse on the ticket also. So to recap my bets for race number 7 from Flemington Racecourse, it's the Emirates Melbourne Cup, the $6 million Melbourne Cup. I'm going to go with the 1 horse. I'm going to give you 2 top selections here. Let's go with that. I'm going to go with the 1 and the 4 horse as a top selection. Number 1, Big Orange as a top selection, and number 4, Bondi Beach as a top selection. Those are the 2 horses I'll probably play some very expensive win bets on. I'm playing a pick 4 ticket also. I'm not sure if you can play that in Australia on track, but you can play that on the Australian American feed, the American simulcast for the Australian races. You can play a pick 4. I'm going to use the 1 horse, the 4 horse, the 6 horse, the 8 horse, and the 20 horse. So I'm going to use 1, 4, 6, 8, and 20. So that's my preview for the Melbourne Cup. Now let's get on to race number 8. Race number 8 from Flemington. It's the James Boggs Premium Stakes, going for a purse of $150,000. It's an open here. We have a field of 20 horses. The 19 and 20 are also eligibles. They're traveling the distance of 1.1 miles, so that's about 1,800 meters. It's a very wide open race here. I found my way to the 4 horses, the top selection, number 4, Turn It Around. I'm going to put this horse into a superfecta. Going to go 4, 10, 9, 14. 4, 10, 9, 14. I'll also use all 4 of those horses in my pick 4 ticket. If you're playing the pick 4, well, I'm not sure if they offer it in Australia, but if you're playing it if you're in the United States and playing the pick 4 for a 20 cents minimum bet, it's going to cost you $64 to play. So I'm going to use all the numbers I said in the last 4 races from Flemington, but 4, 10, 9, 14. This race number 4, Turn It Around, breaking from stall number 17, 16-1 with Dean Yendall on this one. Last time out, ran at Caulfield, October the 15th, on a good going in a Group 3 stakes race at 7 furlongs, 1,400 meters. This horse finished third that day by almost 2 lengths at 151-1. Really upsetted that day. He closed. He was talking to Pace that day, and he just just missed. It was the horse's first start off a layoff. He should be fresher today, which I really love. Start before at Mooney Valley, June the 18th, in an open race for 90,000 and a mile and a quarter. Horse finished eighth that day. Really, he needed. It just wasn't this horse's kind of race. Then he had to start at a mile and a quarter here. Flemington, May 21st of last year in 90,000 Open. Horse won that day by just less than 2/4 of a length. So 2/4 is a half a length he won by, and he really was closing up on the turn and the stretch he got it, and he took off. I think this horse has a very good chance here. He's at the better distance of a mile and eighth, which should suit this horse today. I'm going to take this one with Dean Yendel. Isn't I might be wrong with this one, but I believe it isn't Dean Yendel the rider who caused some controversy on Saturday. I'm pretty sure it might have been him, but I'm 85 percent sure he was the jockey that did that. Caused a little bit of controversy, but 16-1 I really like the price on this one. So I'm gonna go with this one here. So to recap my bets now for race number 8 from Flemington, it was Dean Yendel, as I quickly Google it, who said I'm not going to repeat it because, I want to keep this classy. But to recap my bets race number 8 from Flemington, it's the James Dog Premium Stakes. Going to go with the 4-horse, turn it around with Dean Yendel. If he wins, he'll probably have another one of those. Going to go 4, 10, 9, 14. 4, 10, 9, 14 here in the Superfecta. I'll also use those horses in the pick 4. To race number 9 from Flemington, which is the MSS Security Sprint, purse $150,000. It's an open here again, traveling 1,200 meters over the 6-furlong distance, 19 horses in this one. And my top selection here will go to number 13, Ravi. I'm gonna go, as we could stop this cat from walking over my wires and stuff. I'm going to go with 13 Ravi. I'm going to go 13-1-4-2. 13-1-4-2. Number 13 Ravi, 13-1. Last time out of Caulfield on October the 8th in 6-furlong Group 3. This horse finished 4th that day by 1.5 lengths. He closed up from far back from 12 going into the far turn to get 4th. He should really do well here today with this course, and also the straight course here. I think he should do well on it. Start before it came at Rosehill, September the 10th, 6 furlongs in a Group 3. Horse from second again. He closed not from far back, but he closed from mid-pack, and he got second, but he needed a little extra kick. I think he should do well here today. His last win came at Rosehill back in June, June the 4th, closing up very well. He's the kind of horse that at the end you'll see this horse really running. So I'm going to take this chances with number 13 Ravi here. So to recap my bets for race number 9 from Flemington, it's the MSS Security Sprint. I'm going to go with 13 Ravi. Going to do a superfecta here, 13-1-4-2. 13-1-4-2. I'll also use all 4 of those horses in my pick 4 sequence. So now let's get on to race number 10, the final race on today's program from Flemington. Goes off here in the United States at 2:15 a.m. So just to get you situated with the times here. But this 10th race, a very good one. This race last year, I remember it being very well. This 10th race is the Hong Kong Jockey Club Stakes, going for a purse $200,000. It's 4-year-olds and open for mares. Field of 18 horses, 17 and 18 are also eligible, so only 16 can run. 7 furlongs, 1,400 meters ahead of him. My top selection in this one will go to the 3-horse Silent Sedition. Gonna go 3-2-12-5 in the Superfecta. 3-2-12-5 in the Super. I'll also use all 4 of those horses in my pick 4. Number 3, Silent Sedition. Breaking from stall number 4. 7-2 here for Craig Williams. Last time out at Caulfield, in a Group 3 6 furlongs, 1,200 meters on October the 8th. This horse finished second that day by half a length. He closed up very well, but he needed that start. It was his first start since May the 7th. He should be really improving today with this, with second off the layoff. I love betting horses second off the layoff after that first start off the layoff where they do pretty good, but don't win. That's an angle I really like. But start before that, you have to go to May the 7th, for 3-year-olds in a Group 1 race at a mile and a quarter. He finished second that day, closing up from nowhere again. It was a decent race, but I don't think this horse is the best distance is the mile and a quarter. 7 furlongs is perfect. The last time he's ran it was on March the 19th in just a basic 3-year-old stakes race, 7 furlongs, 1,400 meters. He won that day by almost 2 lengths and closed from the clouds. I think this horse should do well with this distance. Should be second off the layoff also is the key with this horse. So to recap my best racing time from Flemington, it's the Hong Kong Jockey Club Stakes. Going to go with the 3-horse Silence Edition. Going to go 3-2-12-5, 3-2-12-5. So good luck to all. Follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections from racetracks around the world. And follow me here on YouTube for this weekend, Friday and Saturday, Breeders' Cup preview and selections. So good luck to all.